And welcome back to Clutch Time. Today we are talking about the quad and just going back and just really recapping these games and just looking at the key takeaways from those games. And so let's go ahead and let's start with game number one. That was Xavier versus SMU. And so look, I'll say it again. I think that just the defense that was played in this game, I think that it was terrific with what we saw from Xavier. And I just am super impressed with just the way that Sean Miller has been able to get this group to defend at a high level. And so once again, you see Xavier be able to hold an opponent under 60 points. I know this is something that we were talking about this on SimWorld today. And Marsh feeling like 70 points is the number. I think it's 60 when it comes down to tournament play, honestly. And I think that, look, with Xavier, their ability to defend, they're always going to have a chance. I'm always going to worry a bit about just the way that they score the basketball. But I got to give them a ton of credit. I mean, because the things that Maccabee was able to do out there last night, I thought that he was able to get into a great groove. And he was really I think in his offensive bag, so to speak, 8 of 11 from the field, shooting 72%. And he had 18 points to go along with the 7 boards and the 2 assists. And then also, too, when you look at Burleson here, 10.6 rebounds, but the 4 assists and the 5 steals. I think that that's something that really was not talked about enough. I mean, just the way that he was able to get out and defend for Xavier on the perimeter. I thought he was terrific out there. And even though he was 4 of 15 from the field, I mean, just his effort and just his ability on the defensive end, and also too just making sure that the basketball got to the scores out there was terrific play here from Burleson, and the way that he was able to lead Xavier that way. And so, very impressed with the fact that you didn't get really a huge contribution from Nisbet and guys like that who had really been carrying the way offensively here. And so on the flip side of this, when you look at SMU, I just didn't think that SMU was going to shoot this poorly, 39% from the field and 28% from downtown. So I think that Xavier doing a great job there. And Maury Washington, even though he had 13 and 12, it was a tough 13 and 12 for him. I mean, he was 6 of 9 from the field. I thought that SMU really should have got him the basketball a little bit more. And Duvall has 13 points in this game, but he was 5 of 15 on 33% shooting. And so a terrific job defensively in making sure that even if he got a look, it was always contested. So we'll see what happens as Xavier will be moving on to play UCLA. And so speaking of UCLA, they won the second game against Alabama. And so, look, I was very impressed with what I saw with UCLA. I mean, once again, with UCLA, we talked about this and their ability to score the basketball. And so they score 78 points in this game and they win 78-55. But what about the close for them in the second half? I mean, 42-30 in the second half. I always love to see that stat because that just lets me know, where that team is at in the second half of things. Like, did you get off to a great start and then you decided to go ahead and kind of pack it in, so to speak? Not UCLA. They weren't satisfied with the way that things were going in that game. They kept their foot on the gas and they finished strong. And so I love that about UCLA. I think that that is certainly a mark of a champion. And then when you look at just the individual play, you've got to give Jalen Snow a ton of credit. I think that Jalen Snow has really shown us the full package offensively, his ability to get downhill, get into the lane, and just really be a disruptor that way to a defense. We know that he can hit step back jump shots. We know that if you leave him open from outside or really anywhere, it's essentially a layup. And so you got a chance to see how brilliant of a scorer he is. He was 8 of 16 from the field, 50% from there, 50% from downtown. He only shot 2 3-pointers, but he was 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He was plus 19. And so his ability to get to the free throw line, his ability to continue to be a plus for his club has been huge for UCLA. And then next, look, JJ Ortega, I think that he's done a terrific job as far as stepping in between the two stars, whether it's Jalen Snow and LaGerald Carroll, not whether it is those two stars. And so his ability to step in and score and really contribute across the board. He had 16 points, 2 rebounds. He had the 4 assists and the 3 steals. And so you're seeing a player that was doing the little things, especially defensively. I think that you could say that, Ortega was their best defender out there yesterday. The activity with the steals and things like that. And then you just love the fact that he was also kind of the point general out there for them, making sure that they were into some good sets and stuff like that, clearly moving the basketball along to the scores and things like that. And so, a good contribution for him. I think that that's something that they're going to need moving forward if they're going to win the championship here. Plus 12 for him in the plus minus box score. And then with LaGerald Carroll, look, he only had he was 3 of 5 from downtown, and so he's always a little bit more efficient than that, but still 60% from there, and then 4 of 7 from the field. So it wasn't the best night for LaGerald Carroll, and you still got this many points, and you were still able to win like this. And so things trending upward here for UCLA. They've been really peaking at the right time. I think that Mick Cronin has done a terrific job with just pushing the right buttons with this team. And, quiet as it's kept, they're playing good enough defense to where as they're scoring, they can go on these little runs and things like that because they're able to stop the opposing team. And so this was definitely a huge step forward for this team defensively, especially with the way that Alabama could get you in so many different ways. I mean, you name it. Rodrigo Falls, you had Quincy Henderson, you had Epps as well, DJ Challenge. I mean, you name it. They have so many ways that they can beat you, talking about Alabama. And UCLA really minimized that. And so DJ Childs, I thought that he had to have a big game. Only 2 points. He did have the 7 assists, but he was 1 of 9 from the field, did not make a 3-point shot. And so that was definitely tough for Alabama. Rodrigo Falls did lead them with the 13 points, the 4 rebounds. He did have 2 steals, 6 of 13 from the field. So really struggled out there. Quincy Henderson, only 8 points on 4 of 12 shooting. And so a great job for UCLA just going out there, getting some good contests and just making it tough, on the scores here for Alabama. And so, like I said before, in earlier show here in SimWorld today, I think that to me, UCLA is the favorite here going into this one. I just think offensively, I haven't seen a team that has been able to slow them down, but we'll see what happens against Xavier. I don't take anything away from them. I think that this is going to be still, I think, a bit of a chess match. I think it is going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a lopsided game by any stretch of the imagination. And look, if Xavier can slow them down enough and get really UCLA in the mud, they certainly have a chance. And I mean, I know it's a tall order, but if anybody could do that, it would be Sean Miller. It would be Xavier here. So you guys let me know in the comments here what your key takeaway was from both of those games out there. Who do you feel like is going to be the national champion here in Hoopsteria? So I'd love to hear what your comments are. And as we always say, look, see the game and be the game. We'll see you guys as this is the last show here going into Hoopsteria. All right, take care. Peace.